Assalamu alaikum, fellow Toastmasters and guests. This is Talha, and I'm hoping that you're all preparing for today's table topics contest and you're all ready and pumped up. It is so regretful that I won't be able to participate in this contest even as an audience because I won't be in the city. So, this is my little token to all of you, and this is reflective of my desire to actually be there during the contest. So, as the winner of last year's table topics contest, I would like to share some of the tips and tricks about how to do well in this contest. First of all, as always, the idea is to go out there and kill it. Go out there and express yourself. Go out there and just pour your heart out without really bothering about the results. First, I will go through the judges' ballot because that is the guiding document for the judges and for the contestants one by one. And then I will share some of my personal tips and tricks that I have found to be useful for any table topics contest. So, first of all, let's go through the judges' ballot. And the first category is speech development, which has 30 marks. And this is where it differs from your normal table topics session in meetings. The speech needs to have a structure, it has to have an opening, body, and closing. This is very, very important because it has 30 marks. The organization should be there, the transitions between the segments should be smooth, and most of all, the topic should be relevant to the topic assigned. You cannot deviate completely from the topic. Yes, you can go off in tangents, or you can give examples, or you can slightly bend the topic according to your own preference, but the transition should be smooth, it should be meaningful, it should have an opening, body, and conclusion. Second is effectiveness, which includes logic, directness, enthusiasm, achievement of purpose, and audience response. This has 25 marks. Now, what do you mean by effectiveness? Simply, it should be an effective speech. It should engage the audience, it should be purposeful, it should be relevant to them, and you should sound enthusiastic and sincere during the speech. That is very, very important, and especially important in a table topics contest. Remember, you have just 2.5 minutes maximum to prove your sincerity to the audience. So, better do a purposeful speech. The third is physical appearance, body language, speaking areas. It always helps, and I have found it through personal experience to dress well for any contest or any speech because dressing well will give you that little bit extra confidence that you didn't know you needed until you dress really well. Secondly, you need to have body language, you need to be expressive, you need to have gestures, you have to have movement, and thirdly, very importantly, you need to limit yourself to the speaking area because did you know that if you deviate out of the speaking area, you can be disqualified? So it's very, very important to stick to the speaking area. The third category is the fourth rather is voice. So vocal variety, flexibility, volume. You should be audible, your words should be clear. You should have vocal variety and voice modulation. Introducing some dialogues into the speech will always increase your speech score of vocal variety. And then appropriateness to speech purpose and audience. So for example, you will be facing a general audience. So you simply cannot deliver a speech on quantum mechanics and expect to score well with the audience, and that is a consideration. It has 10 marks, and every mark counts. So it should be as general as possible, as audience friendly as possible. Your target should be to connect with the audience and to deliver something meaningful to them. And lastly, correctness, grammar, pronunciation, word selection. It has 5 marks, but don't discount it because even 5 marks are important. So you need to be grammatically correct as much as possible. I know that's very, very difficult during a table topics contest, but again, 5 marks. Secondly, your word selection should be good and your pronunciation should be good. It should be audible. Yes, I know English is not our first language. We all come from various languages and we struggle to produce absolutely correct pronunciation. But at the very least, your words, your sentences should be audible, clear, so that audience and the judges understand you perfectly. Now remember, it's not easy to contest in a table topics contest, but if you have a few tricks up your sleeve, it can get you through. The first trick is to prepare two or three anecdotes really well, and this is what Toastmaster guides do. So there should be a humorous incident, there should be a tragic incident, and there should be an embarrassing incident. There should be an incident where you felt really inspired or you inspired someone else. Prepare these 4 or 5 little pockets, 1 minute each, so that you can plug them into the speech if the speech topic allows for it. So you need to rehearse them, you need to memorize these incidents, and it's not that difficult to do. Just write half a page or 5 or 6 lines and it will cover 1 minute, and it should be memorized well enough so that you can plug it when required. Secondly, my tip is timing. Now remember, this is not a prepared speech contest. You don't have 5 to 7 minutes. You only have 1 to 2.5 minutes. And there is no bell. And even if there was a bell, it would have been too late because at the bell you are disqualified. So you can have the best speech in the history of the world, but if it goes over time by 1 microsecond, it's all zero. So please, please, please be careful about your timing. Resist the urge to talk and talk and talk and talk. It's better to have a 1 minute speech rather than a 2 minute 35-second speech. Remember that. You cannot afford to go over time. And the best way to do is to time yourself so that you start to wind up at the yellow light. Yes, the yellow light, not the red light, because there's only 30 seconds between yellow and red light. So start winding up your speech, start working towards your conclusion when the yellow light comes up. And when the red light comes up, you have to end the speech very smoothly right there and then. Don't take more than 5 seconds. For God's sake, don't take a chance. I've seen so many brilliant speakers in speech contests, especially table topics, who arrived at perfect conclusions. They were winding up the speech well within time, and suddenly they had this weird urge to continue speaking, bring something else into the speech. Please resist that urge. You are not writing Shakespeare here, you're not writing a fancy work of English literature. You are delivering an effective message to the audience, and that requires that you deliver it before 2 minutes 30 seconds. So consider the red light as your bell. Please don't feel free to go beyond the red light. When you see the red light, by that time you should be already on your conclusion, and your conclusion, and that's another tip, your conclusion should not be more than 2 or 3 sentences. Please resist the urge to write paragraphs in conclusions, because this is not a prepared speech, this is not a humorous speech, this is not an international speech contest, this is a table topics contest where you have to stick to the topic. So, just to recap, your speech needs to have a structure, beginning, middle, and ending. The transitions should be smooth. The conclusion, if possible, should be memorable. You should have body language, voice modulation. Your topic should be relevant to the topic assigned and to the audience. Both. And you should work towards your conclusion when you see the yellow light, so that by the time red light comes, you're well on your way towards closing the speech. Nobody will kill you if you close your speech before the red light. Please resist the urge to talk further. And last but not the least, prepare 2 or 3 incidents, humorous, tragic, inspirational, you name it, and memorize them, practice their delivery. And one more thing that you can do to practice today, because since this is last day, ask a family member or a colleague to assign you topics in quick succession. Just have them hold a small table topic session for you, and you practice your skills of impromptu speaking, and trust me, that will make a whole lot of difference. The more you practice, the more confident you will be. So I'm hoping that I get to see absolutely brilliant speeches from all of you, because delivering a brilliant speech is what that counts, not the result. Looking forward to a memorable competition, And best of luck to all of you. Love you all and looking forward to seeing the recording of your speeches. Thank you so much.